Some elected Republicans are now rejecting President Trump's claim that border crossings are some kind of national emergency, teeing up a vote that could mark his biggest rejection yet from his own party. While today, lawmakers absolutely grilling Trump's handpicked Homeland Security Secretary to reject her claims that might have supported this, quote, emergency. For example, while most terrorists reached the U.S. by plane, the Trump administration had falsely claimed terrorism was a huge problem at the southern border.
We have terrorists coming through the southern border because they find that's probably the easiest place to come through. They drive right in and they make a left.
I think most of these were being stopped at our airports. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The majority were through the air environment.
Through the air environment, maybe that's some kind of bureaucratic code designed to lessen the blow of contradicting the president who appointed you. But the air is not the land on the southern border. Terrorists are not rushing the southern border. Now, when it comes to drugs, when those do head for the U.S., it's typically through the organized ports of entry, which handle cargo, not smuggled through land areas where Trump wants to erect this wall. Under questioning today, Nielsen admitted that, too.
A big majority of the big drugs, the big drug loads, don't go through ports of entry. They can't go through ports of entry.
The majority of the drugs continues to come through the ports of entry.
Now, those are some of the perceived threats. Then there is the amount of southern immigration itself. In the current era, border crossings are at historical lows, dropping since a peak, look at this, in the early 2000s. You can see right here just how low immigration is at a historical level. What you're looking at matters because it shows immigration to the southern border is way down. That doesn't resolve legitimate debates over immigration policy, but it does debunk Donald Trump's lies designed to scare people about the idea of historically rising immigration. Now, Secretary Nielsen stressed that on a monthly basis, apprehensions were up in February, then dodged on Trump's other claims.
What the president said was not accurate, was it?
I apologize. I don't know the full context of that. I just don't know the context of his statement, sir.
I'm just trying to get a yes or no.
Sir, I just don't know the context of his statement.
There is no context that can rescue Donald Trump's false claims on this one. Illegal border crossings way down over the past 2 decades. The facts matter. You need to know all this. Secretary Nielsen already knows it, and we have a lot of evidence Trump does or should know it. Today's debate over these facts actually cuts to something much deeper, the very morality of the Trump administration's extreme measures on immigration. If people learn these facts, immigration down, no national emergency, well, people may be less likely to support the president seizing emergency powers to try to spend your money on things he wasn't authorized to spend, let alone tolerate the administration's extreme mistreatment and caging of immigrant children, which has been widely condemned as human rights abuse. Today, Democratic lawmakers pressed Nielsen on that. Keep in mind, this became a cross-examination over the word cages.
Are we putting children in cages? I just want you to admit that the cages exist.
Sir, they're not cages.
What is a chain link fence enclosed into a chamber on a concrete floor represent to you? Is that a cage?
It's a detention space, ma'am, that you know has existed for decades.
Does it differ from the cages you put your dogs in when you let them stay outside? Is it different?
Yes.
In what sense?
It's larger. It has facilities. It provides room to sit, to stand, to lay down.
So did my dog's cage.
So these cages are a little larger than what people use for animals. This is a debate about a lot more than words and facts. This is the federal government today, the Trump administration defending a larger cage for, yes, innocent children. You have the facts. Let's hear it again, along with what it looks like.
Sir, they're not cages.
Does it differ from the cages you put your dogs in when you let them stay outside? Is it different?
Yes.
In what sense?
It's larger.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.